Hi everybody, welcome to AjaMadeYa, a channel all about food and nutrition. So if this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. I am a nutrition student. I'm currently doing my master's at Ryerson University. This week was a huge week in the nutrition world. I'm a nutrition student, so obviously myself and all my classmates were really excited about it. But if you don't know, the new Canada's Food Guide is out, and I mentioned it on my Instagram, and this is a really big deal because it just looks so much different from the old food guide. So the old food guide had different food groups, and you had to eat from each food group's like a certain amount of servings. So it was really like a prescription, and it was really hard to follow. I mean, I don't think I followed it or even tried to follow it at all. I just knew that like I needed to be eating vegetables and fruit. The old food guide really emphasized eating dairy and meat products, but this new food guide really only has 3 food groups, and it's not about what you eat and how much you eat, it's just about what your plate looks like. So the 3 main food groups are proteins, whole grains, and fruit and vegetables. And they want half your plate to be fruit and vegetables, a quarter to be protein, and a quarter to be whole grains. But the way they do it is they just show you a bunch of different foods that you could put in that portion of the plate. So protein, instead of just focusing on meat and like cheese and dairy, they're focusing on like all types of proteins, but they really are keying in on plant-based proteins. So these are legumes and nuts, and these are things that have a lot of protein in them but are pretty underrated because we've just been fed this idea that protein must come from meat. It makes sense because protein from meat is a complete protein, so all 9 essential amino acids are found within that one protein. But if you just have a variety of plant-based proteins, you're bound to get all 9 essential amino acids. This food guide is strictly evidence-based, and like Health Canada really showed up for this one because they took all the information that we have and put it into this food guide. I just think it is such a big step forward for Health Canada because they're really just going by the science on this. There's no other external influences. So why should you even care about the new food guide? The new food guide is basically a tool that you can use to make healthier food decisions when you're at home, at work, at school, or basically anywhere. And the new food guide promotes a high fiber diet from the whole grains and the vegetables and some of the protein options, which, you know, I love fiber. It's my favorite nutrient. So I think that's really important because a lot of people think that they can cut out carbs out of their diet, which would be whole grains, which contain like the most fiber, and they're very healthy for you. So again, this food guide just really promotes healthy eating. And this food guide emphasizes plant-based protein options, which is amazing because a more plant-based diet is so important for sustainability and for the health of our planet. And we care about sustainability on this channel. And again, the food guide isn't telling you not to eat meat. It's just saying that you have all these options to get your protein from. It doesn't always have to be meat. Science has showed us that nutrition is heavily related to cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and even some cancers. So this food guide really just provides the best way to eat your meals to reduce the risk of getting these illnesses. And again, it's really up to you what you put on your plate. I know that some people think that this food guide lacks diversity, but multiculturalism is something that Canada really values, and they're just trying to emphasize the proportions. They're not saying what you should eat, and they try to give a lot of different examples. So providing just the basic portions and letting you decide what is going to go in those portions, I think includes everybody. It includes all cultures and all types of food. And the new food guide has a second page that points out that healthy eating is more than just what you're putting in your mouth. So these are things like limiting foods that are high in saturated fat, high in sugars, and high in sodium. And the key word here is limit. Like, nobody's telling you not to eat a donut ever again. Like, everything is good in moderation. It's just a limit. You don't want to have most of your diet consisting of these foods. A good rule to go by is the 80-20 rule, but we'll talk about that in another video. And in order to know which foods are high in saturated fat, sugar, and sodium, you're gonna need to learn how to use food labels. So that's another thing that's on the food guide, which is used to help consumers make healthy decisions at the grocery store. And the new food guide says to beware of food marketing. So an example could be one of those Tropicana juice commercials, and how they say it's such a great source of vitamin C and vitamin A, but you know what else is a good source of vitamin C? an orange. Just eat an orange. Like, you don't need juice because juice is a scam. So 2 other points that were on the new food guide is to be mindful of your eating habits and to cook more often. So being mindful of your eating habits means that you're really paying attention to when you're full and when you're hungry. You're eating without distractions. Being mindful of your eating habits is a really great strategy to help you either reduce your food intake or pay attention to your food intake or just enjoy food more. And cooking more often is another point, because cooking food is really just giving you that control over your nutrition. So you know exactly what's going into your food, and it's a lot more rewarding when you eat something that you make. And then when you share it with others, it's even more rewarding because people are gonna like your food. So this second part of the food guide that emphasizes mindful eating, cooking, and eating with others tries to really just put the fun back into eating. A long time ago, food was used as a cultural thing and to bring people together. That's why like Thanksgiving and Easter are such big deals, because it's really about community and having fun and eating. But now I feel like in our day-to-day, there are 2 ends of the spectrum. One end of the spectrum is just eating without even thinking about it. So like every morning you drive to Tim Hortons and you grab a breakfast sandwich, but you don't think about if you're actually hungry and if you actually need to be eating it. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, which only thinks about food as fuel, and you're scrutinizing every single calorie that goes into your mouth. I used to be on that side of the spectrum, but now I've come to find myself more in the middle, where I ask myself questions like, am I actually hungry? Is this filling me up? And do I enjoy this? So this single nutrition resource might not be enough dietary guidance for you. And if you do feel like you need additional nutrition or dietary guidance, definitely set up an appointment with a registered dietitian, because they are the nutrition experts and they will definitely be able to help you achieve your dietary goals. Lastly, this food guide definitely does simplify things, but it can still be a little overwhelming. So my advice to you is to take it slowly and take it one day at a time and just focus on one thing, whether that's mindful eating. So that can mean eating with the television off or with your phone down, or it could be cook 2 days a week. Like, it's just little things that you can do. Don't try to do this all at once, because healthy eating shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be about healthy habits and lifestyle changes that can be achieved gradually. So thanks for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned some things that you could take and apply to the food you eat.